In this episode, we make some upgrades to our mob farm. Look at this thing. It isn't even sped up. This isn't real time. Then we duplicate enchantment books so we can put Fortune 5 and Efficiency 5 on our netherite meshes and completely automate our sieving setup. This setup includes auto-hammering, sifting, compressing chunks into ores, smelting it, and having it all connected to our applied logistics system. So buckle up, this is going to be a fun one. Hey yo, welcome back. I know in the previous episode I mentioned that I was going to work on improving the design for the mob pit, is what I've come to call it, but I was too excited to play, so I didn't. We just set up power, so we're making 72,000 FE per tick, and it's sitting there inside of a compact machine doing absolutely nothing when we could be using that to generate infinite resources. So I decided that the mob pit can wait, and I wanted to set that up. And also, I'm sick of being a peasant and not being able to fly, so we're gonna fix that right now. The one thing, so I am going to make the flight potion pylon thing, and the potion of flying requires a brewing stand, and that requires a blaze rod that we do not have. So let's start with that. It's actually pretty easy to get blaze rods. We just need to make the assembler from Oritech. Some parts of the recipe look a little bit complicated, like this thing, but don't worry about that. Just make the other ones. There's an iron one, a nickel one. That's really easy. Just steel and nickel. The iron one is just iron and nickel, or steel, sorry. But those are easy to make. Anyways, once you have all that stuff, you can make the assembler. And let's grab a gate to power it and some blaze powder, about 4 stacks of them. And we are going to place this thing down. We do need some core blocks. So let's just make the improved ones. How does this work? Aha! So now this guy is ready, and we can give it power by just putting a gate over there. And we put in our blaze rods, and it's going to make some weird noises and dance for us, and we get blaze rods. It's that simple. All right, we needed a brewing stand and nether wart, which we got from our soul sand thing. And let's see, the flying potion. We start with nether wart, and then it is phantom membrane, fermented spider eye, popped chorus, and 2 pieces of redstone. So we put in the phantom membrane, and while that's going, let's make the pylon. So we are going to make an infusion pylon and also a potion filter. All right, the pylon we will put down, how about back here for now? And this is me, I'm the owner, and it is on. And this will give us any potion effect that, with the potion filter that we put in there, it'll give us that effect permanently, cross-dimensionally, everywhere it exists. So we're going to be making this flying potion. So the potion filter says that the minimum effect duration is 60 seconds. So if you have a potion effect on that is less than 60 seconds, you're not going to be able to apply that to this card. So it has to be longer than 60 seconds. And you need to store or put inside this filter a total of 1 hour worth of potion filters. And these potions of flying are 30 minutes each. So with just 2 of them, we already have the hour long that we need. And once we put that in, the creative flight effect will be activated in this potion filter. And when we put it inside of the pylon, we'll have that for everything. So here is this. We're going to put our potion filter in our offhand and drink that. And you can see it's glowing now like it's enchanted. And there it is. It's activated with the 2 things. And we put that in there. And we have creative flight. Ooh, you know that Ariel bottle? Actually, you have to have the splash one. Oh no, it's an enchanted soul now. Let's grab a Shoot. I want to keep this guy. Actually, we could probably make the mob catcher, creature catcher. Yeah, there we go. And let's catch him. No! Unbelievable. Something else we can do is use this shrinking device and make it smallest and grab a bottle, normal glass bottle. And we're going to shrink this guy to a tiny size. And if we can, pick him up with the bottle. So there is an enchanted lost soul in this bottle. This is another way you can capture entities. So we have that guy if we ever need. This personal shrinking device is cool. It can make you small. So now I'm tiny. It's great for like getting in holes and stuff. Anyways, what am I talking about? We're getting sidetracked, guys. What was our plan? To use all that power we just made? Here's the thing. I'm going to set up automatic sieves and hammers to make resources. But I do want to use the netherite meshes for those. And we actually can almost make the netherite mesh. So in the nether, in this mod pack, there are no bastions. So you can't just go and do that. So the only way you can make the smithing template is either by making the Apotheosis smithing template and upgrading it to the netherite one, or you do the cultism ritual for the possessed hog, the possessed hoglin, and that has a chance to drop the netherite upgrade. So those are your two options. We are really close to the smithing template one, the Apotheosis one. So I'm going to go with that. This luminous crystal shard is a rare, it's a blue one, the rare material. And from the mobs that we spawn, we've gotten up to the green one, but we don't have any of the blue tiers that we'd have to crush to get those. So let's continue spawning a few more. I want to do the one that has the Nether Fortress loot. I also kind of want to try the Endless Blaze one to see if that's going to work for us or not. But this is the one. So let's try to spawn a couple of these. And I'm a little bit worried about blazes because we need to be able to have those guys be killed. So I think this will be a good test. What we definitely need to do is cover us. So let's grab, I guess I'll just use cobble for now. Something like that to make sure they can't see us. The blazes. All right, let's go hide. I wish I could show you. We can look on the map. So zombie piglins and the withers died, it looks like. There are the blazes. They are, oh, this guy is out of his thing. That's unfortunate. Did the other blazes die? I don't think they're going down. It's alright, we have light. Alright, so now we're gonna get the dungeon loot. Boom, boom, boom. Ooh, we got a spawner. Let's take a look at that. Nice, we just got an Apotheosis spawner. I've been learning all of these codex entries. That just gives you, unlocks Ars Nouveau glyphs for you for free. So that's cool. All right, let's see if we got, okay, we did get more things. Nothing that is blue, unfortunate. So I think an easy way to get around that is by just going to the Nether. And I think it'll be interesting for you guys to see as well. Oh, you know what? We're not going to have access to our thing. That's okay. So, complete void. There's no lava. There are no bastions, only fortresses. And what's cool about fortresses is it's easy to get Apotheosis loot from here. How did? Unbelievable. Oh, it's not the upgraded fortresses. There seems to be really no reason to really come to the Nether. unless you wanted to grab like a swab of wither skeletons or blazes, or maybe like grab a spawner. You'll need silk touch for that. Yeah, so I think there's nothing here for us. Oh well. We did get warp scrolls from the dungeon loot, and we can actually do something kind of cool. So if we come here to the middle and we shift, so this warp scroll, we save the location of it. So we could make a cursed earth farm, like off to the side here, and then use the Ars portal to put them inside of the spikes, and that will surely give us some Apotheosis bosses. So I think maybe I'll set that up. So the way the cursed earth works is we need a rotten egg to spawn a 5x5 thing of dreadful dirt. And the rotten egg comes from GN Chicken Feed Cursed, which is all these things plus buckets of experience. The buckets of experience are easy once you have the experience holder, because you can just right click it. And we get this, and now we just need to feed this to a chicken, which I don't think I have. So we'll have to do that other gateway one more time. And this is going to spawn the chickens for us. First, we're going to feed this GM chicken feed to this chicken trying to escape. And we get the rotten egg. I don't need pigs. Well, maybe for Apotheosis, actually. Let's grab him. We'll grab a couple cows. And these guys will just be in glass bottles, and we can use them whenever. So let me show you guys what I have so far. I've made a little box with that dirt. And you can see there's a bunch of monsters in there that have spawned because it was dark. So we've got a little box here with the first layer surrounded with source stone. And I got source gems and source stone also from the gateways. And you don't want the dirt here to have direct access to the sun. So I'm going to close that and maybe poke a hole on the side over here. And then once we click in our rotten flesh, this is all going to turn into dreadful dirt, and it's going to spawn monsters really quickly when we turn off the light. So with the light on, nothing in here should spawn. So we can close that up. You can see underneath here, I have cog blocks and a timer from RF Tools. What this timer is doing, it is every 2 ticks, it is spamming this with redstone signal. So you can see the power going between 0 and 1. And when you tick, redstone tick, the dreadful dirt, it spawns monsters a lot faster. So that's going to spawn a bunch of monsters. And then I have this redstone receiver that is linked to this lever, and we can turn off the lever to turn off the light, and the mob farm will run. Now we just need to get the mobs from there inside of our killing chamber, and that's where this warp scroll comes in. We can make a portal that will automatically put all the mobs in here. The only thing is, so this warp scroll is not that hard to make. The mage bloom you can buy from the market and grow it to make the paper, and then the source gems you just put in imbuement chambers. And I got this from the gateway, so you can do that as well. The only problem is to open up the portal, we're going to need a little bit of source. And I was going to make the agronomic source link, but I used up all of my source gems from the gateways to make source stone. So now I have like 32 extra source stone, but no source gems. Small miscalculation on my part, but we do need to get some source. So let's take a look at that. The first thing we're going to need is some archwood saplings, which I have none of them. So let's go ahead and grab the market guy, and we can buy from him for some emeralds. And let's say we want the purple one. We can plant that guy. Grab our Recapitator. Look how good this is. These ones were detached, I guess. And then we are going to do that and make some slabs. So we need imbuement chambers first. And I'll go to make 4 for now. And if we grab some lapis, we can just set these guys down and put the lapis inside. These are, by the way, really easy to automate with Super Factory Manager, which is great. It's really easy to make some source. All we're going to need is to put down a cog block down, and we're going to surround that with snad. And snad is 2 pieces of sand together. Gives you snad. That just allows you to tick accelerate cactus growth. Actually, I'm going to move this up one block. So we'll put that like that. And then we're going to put an RF Tools timer pointing up into the cog block, and again set this to two ticks so it's happening really fast. And then we can go ahead and put snad all around, and then our cactus is going to go there, but I'll put a piece of cobblestone. That way when the cactus grows, it automatically breaks. And then we put our agronomic source link somewhere nearby and put our source jar next to that. And that's it. And then when we put this down, we're going to get a ton of cactus really fast. And you can see those particle effects going into the source link, and our jar is going to be filling up the source. So we'll just give it a minute until this is 100% full, and we can open up our portal. And all we have to do is put the source nearby over here, and we're going to go inside. And we shift clicked our warp scroll inside of there. So now when we throw it in here, it used the 90% of our source to generate a portal. Is that the portal? Oh yeah. Okay. So it's just a shader issue. So now anything that falls in here is going to get teleported in here. And that is how we're going to get those mobs over here. So if we close this up and block that, we can grab this again and watch this. So we are going to turn off the thing, and now look at all those mobs. This should be filling up with a bunch of things. We're looking for one that is blue. There it is. And this should be filling up with a bunch of stuff too. All right, let's grab the blue one. We're going to put it on real quick to complete a uncommon pants, leggings thing. And then we need an anvil. And some of those gems from Apotheosis. So we'll grab like these guys. Turn off our magnet. We can throw these down on the ground and drop a magnet on top of them. I done goofed. This is how you get your first thing. So that gives us some of this gem dust, and then we can make a salvaging table. And then when we put the pants in there, we can salvage it down and get these luminous crystals. Now, with that and the gem dust, we can make this smithing template. We just need some deep slate. That gives us 8 gem-infused slates that we can use to craft, along with the luminous shards, to craft these smithing templates. And that gives us the netherite smithing template. And then once we have that, we can just dupe it with more diamonds. So now that we have a bunch of these netherite smithing templates, we can really easily upgrade all of our meshes to the netherite version. We just need a smithing table and some netherite. There it is. And now we are ready to set up ore processing. Check out this loot chest that's almost completely full of all of these different items. I went ahead and see we got a purple thing. So we used that. We also put on the blue one. So now we're actually on the frontier tier and we have we have everything completed. We just need to kill an Apotheosis invader. So we'll have to go kill one of those guys and then we'll be able to keep upgrading this. But now you can see why I built that button. So you can see like this whole mess, nothing in here is high value. So I just want to click that. And, oh shoot, that's this one. Oh my God, I changed it to clear the other chest. All right, let's change it back to the tools one. And when we click that, it deletes everything except for those three, which we just need to press it a couple more times. All right, and we can salvage these things and get the arcane sands. Anyways, not important right now. But this is insane. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I want to kill that guy. Give me the last hit. Yes, okay. So that means we can now ascend to ascent. Oops. We just press activate. And now we're going to get better. So if you look at the details, we're going to get more experience and more luck for us. Monsters will have more armor and more piercing, so they're going to be tougher. And then our rarities, this is showing you what things you're going to get. This is for the gems, and this is for the equipment. So 50% of the stuff that's being dropped is going to be the blue tier, the rare one. And we have 10% chance of getting the epic things. So now common things are actually very low chance to get those. And as you go up higher, you'll get better things. That's how the tier system works with Apotheosis. Guys, something wonderful just happened. We got a Wandering Trader and he gave me a fortune pickaxe, which is really handy dandy. By the way, when you're looking at JEI, if you hover your cursor over the search bar, you can see all the different characters you can use to search for different things. So if I want to search for the fortune enchantment, I can just put the $sign and write fortune, and everything that has fortune on it will pop up. If you wanted to search for like all tools and stuff, you can do the hashtag and then do your tags. So I can do C tools, shows up all of those, or C armors. This is nice because let's look at the tools. The Apotheosis things that drop, like this one is not called an axe, it's called the tree capitator. So if you search axe, this won't come up. So it's nice to be able to use tags and then everything will come up. But anyways, let's not get sidetracked. So we got this thing with fortune 4 on it, and we can actually enchant our netherite mesh things with efficiency and fortune. Does this have efficient? It does. It has efficiency 5. So I'm going to show you a way you can actually, this is going to be cool. So Super Factory Manager, our beloved, if you didn't know, also includes some enchanting and disenchanting mechanics into the game. So let's take a look at that. I want to duplicate my fortune 4 into fortune 5 and then duplicate the fortune 5. So if we grab a piece of obsidian, actually let's go over here, and I am going to pick up that guy and put a piece of obsidian down there, and we'll just build up this like that. Oh, that looks hideous, but it's okay. It'll do for now. I'm going to turn off my magnet, and you can disenchant this pickaxe. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 enchantments on there. So I'm going to throw 5 books down. So I can turn off my magnet, throw down the 5 books, throw down the pickaxe, and then drop the anvil on top, and you can see it split all of those enchantments. So then we have a regular pickaxe And then we got all of those enchantments. The one we're interested in is Efficiency 5 and Fortune 4. And further, we can duplicate those enchantments. Also, this mechanic is added by Super Factory Manager, if you didn't know. Let's also set up another thing over here. And if I want to turn this into a form, I can use a block of iron. And we put the iron block down and grab our Fortune 4 book. We can turn off our magnet again. And we also need another anvil. Let me grab another anvil. Fumble around. Throw down the enchantment book on top of a block of iron and drop the anvil on top. And now we get this printing form for our enchanted book. It just says enchanted book. I don't know why it doesn't show the what enchantment it is. That would make it more convenient. But anyways, then what we can do is combine 9 other books with this form and duplicate that enchantment. So if we take a look at our enchanted books, I can grab Smite and all of these random ones. This one's just a random enchanted book. Interesting. And one more. So then we're going to throw down all of these random books that we don't want and drop another anvil on top of the obsidian. And that'll turn those into 9 experience shards, which you can combine into goop. So now we have experience goop, and we want to make the printing press. Requires another anvil. This is very anvil heavy. Now, we put down this printing press, and we put our form on top, and the goop, and a book, I believe. So all of those go together, and now we just need to press that. So we need a piston, like so, and a button. We can clean this up later, but we put the button down, and when you extend it, you get Fortune 4 book. So if we do that one more time, we'll have 2 Fortune 4 books that we can combine into Fortune 5, and then use this mechanic to duplicate a bunch of Fortune 5 books. We'll need 9 total. And we can just make a enchanting table. We're going to need more books. How much leather do we have? 9 leather. I'm going to make more books. We're just going to run our farm. Oh, by the way, speaking of the farm, I moved the thing down below, and I just used the cut paste gadget from building gadgets, and I moved it down there. You do have to set up the portal again, but now it's down there and it looks cleaner, and we can turn this on, and it's so good. We should have some leather in here too. Or we can dry the rotten flesh into leather. Or use the atomic reconstructor. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. What we can do is make the enchanting table. And just make random enchantments. It doesn't matter. We'll just use the cheapest ones for experience. And we can rinse and repeat to break all of these guys. So we'll do the same thing, throw it on top. To make more experience shards into goop. And I'm going to need another book. So I've got the sawmill going again to make sawdust for paper. And we're going to use the atomic reconstructor in order to make leather. So with this guy, I believe we can just set him down and give him some power. And that, I guess it's just on auto. So we'll throw down the rotten flesh, and every time it does that, it's going to give us some leather. And this will be just a quick and dirty way of getting this really quickly until we can set it up properly later. So that gave us more books and experience goop, and that is still in there. So we can combine them together and get another Fortune 4 book that we can combine to get Fortune 5. Now we do the same thing with the Fortune 5 book by putting another block of iron below. And we throw down the Fortune 5 book on top of the block of iron. And now we have a Fortune 5 printing form. So let's grab that one and just delete it. And now we can do that same process to get 9 of those books that we can put on our netherite mesh. And they will all have Fortune 5, which will be great. So we're going to have to do this. We're going to need 81 books to enchant. So it's nice that we have the mob farm, because that'll supply us with power or with leather as well as experience to do this. My efficiency 5 book I'm going to throw inside of the thing just so I don't accidentally break that one down, because we'll need it. And I'm going to do that for the efficiency 5. So actually, let's do that right now. Oh, so these guys have efficiency 10. I wonder if I can put those on. Let's try that. So there's our efficiency one. I don't know why it doesn't show that. We can just name it. So there's efficiency 10. And then this was Fortune 5. So now when we look up efficiency, we can grab it from there. All right, there's the efficiency 10. And let's take a look at that. Oh, efficiency 5 is the highest you can put on there. Interesting. You might, for efficiency 10, you might need to do it the pneumaticraft pressure chamber way. So we can worry about that later, but I'm going to use it anyways because we can duplicate that book. So now we have a netherite mesh with Fortune 5 and efficiency 5. I'm going to do that same thing with the other 8, and then we'll be ready to set up our auto sifting thing over there. And I have a cool idea for that too that I think will make things convenient. So let me finish this little grind and I'll be right back. I just finished grinding the goops, which is really easy. Just, make the books over here a few times, and then I grabbed experience from our experience holder. So now we're ready. This one's efficiency 10, and we need 8 more of those for these guys. So this is all we do. And I guess you can put all the goop there at once, which is nice. Makes this a little bit easier. All right, we have our 9 netherite meshes with fortune and efficiency 5 on them all, and we are ready to set this thing up. So my idea is I'm going to tap into both of our controllers here. So let's grab our Super Factory Manager cables. And we're just going to go below and tap into both of these controllers. And this can take us all the way to, I will put my Super Factory Manager over here, put the disk in there. Now let's see what we want to do. If we press U on these guys and look through the sieves, we're going to want to do sand to get the Certus quartz. Blackstone for ancient debris. I guess we could do netherrack also. And then gravel, dust, and crushed endstone as well. Oh, and the deep slate. So that gives us 7. So we'll get rid of those 2. So we need to make 7 sieves. And then we will need hammers for those. So let me see how many we need to make. It's going to be something like this. Our sieves, I believe we should be able to set the output sides. So if we put the sieves over here, I want them to output to the front. There we go. So you shift right click with the hammer. And when you see that blue, that means it's going to output the inventory to the front. By default, I believe it's the bottom. And then we're going to use these sophisticated storage barrels just to make it a little bit more organized. So we can put our gravel in there. And what we're going to do is go to the item display thing and turn that on. So that's going to display gravel. And if we remember the slot for that, let's see if we can do that. So then if you remember the slot, then it's going to have that gravel there showing up. So first it's going to be gravel. Then we're going to have sand. And we want to, again, remember the memory and then do the item display. So now that shows up as sand. And then we have dust. So now all of those are being displayed just so it's a little bit easier to see what's going on. They're all connected by inventory cables below, and then we have all of these sieves over here that are going to be outputting to the front. So now the gravel is going to require 1 flux hammer, right? Because that's going to be cobblestone to gravel. Then this one is going to require 2. The next one's going to require 3, because these are all going to be getting cobblestone, right? And then all the rest of these only require 1. So we set down more inventory cables below for everything. And here we go. And these ones by default do output to the front of them, I believe. So when you look at it with a hammer, you can see where the output side is, and it's to the front already. So we don't have to worry about that. Just need to make more. And that should be all done. We need a way to power everything, so I will grab another ender cell. These ender gates do not work with Super Factory Manager, so we do have to make the ender cell. The gates do not. I'm just going to plop this down here somewhere. Go over there. Now that is connected. Okay, so first we need to give everything power. Let's turn these guys off. We're going to do sifting automation. So this will pull power from the ender cell and put it inside of the hammer and the sieve. And we will label all of those guys as such. And then we just want to do the cobblestone. So this is kind of what I have right now. We're going to name all the hammers and all the sieves as hammer and sieve so we can get power from the ender cell. So let's do that one first. So we want hammer, normal hammer. And all of these hammers, we're going to hold control and it's going to grab all those guys. And then we want sieve. It'll be all of the sieves, hold control. So now when we pass those labels in there, these guys should be getting power, except they're not. So maybe we need to do a side. Anytime something doesn't work, try using sides. I'm going to say top side. Guys, this is the worst day of my life. I don't think Super Factory Manager can push power to these guys for some reason. I put a gate on this one from the top and it works, but the rest of them are not getting power. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Let's try labeling the controllers. So we have the drawer controller over here. And let's do the gravel, or the cobblestone, right? So we want to do cobblestone hammers. So here's the cobblestone hammer, this one and this one. So these 3 are getting cobblestone. So we're going to push that in there. Let's see if these are, yeah, they're getting cobblestone, all right. So how come items works, but power doesn't? That is so lame. Well, let's continue setting it up. This one we have is the end stone. So here's the end hammer. And then the next one is deep slate. After that, we have netherrack. And finally, blackstone. So those guys should be getting endstone, cobble deep slate, netherrack, blackstone. We don't have any, but we can take some from here and put it in this barrel because we're going to be getting blackstone back from the netherrack one, as well as the blackstone one. So we're going to be producing more blackstone than we're actually using from here. So we do want to do that as well. And then we have the result barrel, which is that, and the sieve barrels, which are these guys. So everything should be labeled now. Oh my god, it's because I didn't label the ender cell. I am an idiot. Let's go label the ender cell. Aye. Now they're all getting power. Wow. That was a special moment. Thank you for bearing with me. Okay, and then for here, we're also going to be inputting the blackstone from comma result barrel. All right, this should be all set up. So here's the gravel going in there. And then it's going to turn into, is this enough? This one has cobblestone. It gives us gravel. And then this is going to be sand. Yeah, perfect. And then this one should be dust. Nice. Now, we do have the ability to level these guys up. So let's take a look at machinists. We can have 3 of these diamond upgrades, and that's going to use a little over 2,000 FE per tick. So we're producing 72,000 FE per tick. And how many machines do we have? We have 17, and 17 times 2,000. We're going to have plenty of power for all of them. So I'm going to make 17 times 3 of all of these cards to stick in there, and these are going to be very, very fast. And we do need to fix this. Actually, before doing anything, let's make these Omega stack upgrades, which are ridiculous. The team has apparently decided to keep these in the pack, and it makes every single stack limit size of your sophisticated storage max in, and it takes 9 tier 5 upgrades, which is not that bad actually. It's just going to require lots of crafting. So let me get this one. So we need 9 of all of the stack upgrades. Really not a problem at all. So we've got the stack upgrade guy. We're going to toss in there, and that compresses everything down. And we're also going to grab that same compression card out of here. And if we put that in here, it's on the same setting. So now we're getting those ores. And we're going to want to put those ores inside of our... actually, no, we're going to want to smelt those guys. So let's maybe set down a furnace here and here. So we'll put down our inventory cables and connect them up to the rest of the stuff. And we'll grab 2 of these furnaces and the aldomodium from in here. Hopefully this is enough. It's not going to be enough, is it? So we have the aldomodium furnace. That'll go over here. We want the factory augment in there. We'll turn auto split on, sure. So we also want to give power to the furnace. And let's see if that's going to work. Furnace has power. And we want to pick up these guys. What can we use? C ores tag works for those guys, which is nice, and it doesn't exist on the ore chunks. So let's try with that. So we'll add another forget, and what we want to do is we want to input with the tag C ores from the result barrel and output to the furnace top side. And then we will input from the furnace bottom side and output to sophisticated controller. And that is going to go in our system. So we have the furnace. We just need the sophisticated controller, which is this guy. So when we put that in there, you can see the ores are coming in here, getting smelted, and going to our system over here. So that is all automated for the ores. we're just going to set up another furnace over there, and we need to upgrade all these guys. So let's make those upgrades. I ran out of gold trying to make these guys, but you can see I put 3 stack upgrades in here. So this should do a stack at a time. And you can see the stack comes in here, and we should be getting a ton of stuff. Look at that. Every single time it ticks, we're getting a bunch of resources. And how is our gold doing? 33 gold already. And I just finished the last set of upgrades. Now we're going to click into these machines. And now everything, if you look at Jade on the top, has the 3 diamond upgrades. And this thing should be absolutely cranking. I also just got enough of the all the modium to do this furnace. All right, so now this thing, it's literally been like just a couple of minutes, and you can see we're already up to 14,000 blackstone, so the blackstone's going crazy. And then all of the ores, like gold, we were running out of, right? Now we have 600 gold already, even though we used more to make it. How are we doing with diamonds? Diamonds are in here, so 1,300 diamonds. I do want to link this to the rest of our system, and we can do that with the storage tool. First of all, let's get rid of all the Super Factory Manager stuff. And we are going to need storage links. And we put 1 storage link on top of this guy, and we should be able to still access that. Yep. And we put the other link on top of our controller. Actually, I don't think we need to do that. I think we can just right-click on this. Right-click on the controller, and then you can link it to that. So now those two are linked together. And since we have a storage bus over there, like Skulk, for example, I have no Skulk in our chests. But if I search for a Skulk, you can see that it's showing up over here. All right, so we have fully automated all of the things that we need. We might have to bump up our production for things like netherrack and stone, deep slate, because these guys aren't going to be able to keep up. Or it might just be okay. Man, even the cobblestone's not keeping up, so I'll have to bump those guys up. But it's easy. You can just make the netherite tier 1s and a few of those, and it'll be good. So anyways, now I feel much better that all of that power that we set up in the previous episode, we are actually putting to use. And yeah, we're going to bump that up even more, probably in the next episode, and then keep moving. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope this was a cool little setup to automate all of those, and that you guys will like it. Ooh, let's go see what this guy has before we leave. Decent boots. I'm going to get those boots. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.